Welcome back to Steveisms with Steven. I'm Steve, and did you know that the song Lunatic Lullaby has a hidden message? Those of you with eagle ears may have picked it up at the very beginning. There's something played backwards. That's been driving me nuts. So I first tuned into Lunatic Lullaby in the premiere. I caught the very beginning of it, and the crazy thing that happened on Twitch before where they talked a little bit about it. What I did was I recorded that live, my visual reaction to it live, and then I plan to go back and do the commentary. But I'm telling you, this has been driving me nuts ever since. I needed to find out what the heck the message that was playing backwards was. So I pulled it up in DaVinci Resolve, and I figured you should hear that before we get into the actual song itself. Now, of course, if you haven't seen the song, I want you to go back and watch the song. It's going to be on Webby channel and on Ren's channel, so all you got to do is click the link that I've left in the description to see the original video. But this is what the message says backwards. It's a message from Webby. This ought to be good. Check it out. This is what Webby had to say.
Thank you for listening to this album. In case you didn't know, my dog Moose has been a very important part of this recording process. Who's a good boy? Moose is a good boy.
So there you have it. It is Webby saying that his puppy, Moose, has been a very important part of the recording process, and he's a good boy. So without further ado, let's listen to the song itself, and then I'll break down my thoughts and analysis afterwards. Here we go. Lunatic Lullaby. So Ren was saying on Twitch for this one, you need to put your headphones on, close your eyes. Webby says close your eyes and just enjoy. Apparently there's like a 3-minute guitar solo at the beginning of this, which I find awesome and insane. I'm going to do that. I'm going to close my eyes, enjoy the ride, and I suggest that you do the same. So let's enjoy the Lunatic Lullaby. You hear the heartbeat in the background? I do. Somebody's about to flatline. Ooh. Toned it up and down. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time to trip. Feels like we're listening to Pink Floyd. This could be meditation music, man. Wow. Yeah, this one's weird and trippy, but I mean, it's not the weirdest thing I've ever heard, considering the fact that I used to love Tool.
I remember swinging like a pendulum by my umbilical cord. The surgeon held me up proudly like a prized fish, and all I could think was put me back. Put me back. To be violently ejected from the safety of the womb into this Tartarian nightmare felt cruel. I looked up at my mother, once my home, and now the orchestrator of my exile, and I felt deserted. I'd feel this feeling again, with everyone that I'd ever loved. I remember summoning a burst of air from my diaphragm, and it ripped through the tightly strung fibers of my vocal cords, and I made a terribly repugnant sound. A giant ugly gloved hand hoisted my tiny writhing body onto a sterilized surface and began hacking at my umbilical cord with a stainless steel scalpel. Who were these barbarians that would sever me from my one avenue of nourishment? I was passed back to my mother, and she looked down at me, and she smiled. How can you smile at a time like this? What is this world? I quickly realized that I did not belong here. The one thing that brought solace, that brought peace, was the rhythmic beat emanating from my mother's heart monitor. I remember it clearly now. It beeped like a metronome. Steady. Rhythmically. And all of a sudden, I could hear music. Yeah. I could hear music, and in that music I could hear the heartbeat of the universe, primal, connected, formless yet with form, empty spaces filled with bursts of matter, and I was enamored, I was in awe, I was at the altar of gods. I knew I had to pursue this feeling every day, or I would surely die.
Holy crap. Wow. Okay. So, wow, that was a really short one, but according to this Twitch stream that was live before this, they said it was one of the weirdest, and I can kind of see why. I mean, definitely the perspective of birth into this world from the perspective of the baby is so unique, and being torn from the safety of that which you've ever known, only ever since consciousness, and how instead of it being a celebration, it's a tragedy. That's such a wild take on it, especially coming into this world. Man, that was good. Apparently, Ren woke up and just all of a sudden that monologue came to him. He wrote everything down and he ran down to the studio and he said, I think I've got it. Hit record. and that was it. Now, the first take was recorded by Webby on his phone, so maybe someday we'll see that footage, but that's some wild stuff, man. Now I see why they called it Lunatic Lullaby. It was definitely not what I was expecting, but really good. Really good stuff. Weird, but good. Okay, so let's dive into the lyrics, shall we? So before I start diving into this, I wanted to kind of talk about a few things. First of all, I'm going to skip all the cool guitar stuff and go straight to the lyrics so that I can actually break that apart. And I call it lyrics, but let's be honest, this is a spoken word poem. It's not necessarily a rap or even singing. It's just spoken word poetry, which I find fascinating. And it's really cool for all the reasons I just said earlier, but also I'll get into it. One thing that blows my mind is that I had heard Lunatic Lullaby was going to be different. I had heard that it was going to be something that was unlike anything else on the entire album. And it turns out that's true. It absolutely is unlike anything else on the album. I was expecting, when you hear the word Lunatic Lullaby, you think it's going to be something crazy, something loony. You definitely don't expect it to be super chill and then spoken word poem about the chaos of coming into life. That all blew my mind. I will say that one thing I've learned about this entire album, the entire Asylum album, is that you have to expect the unexpected. There really is there's no way to know what to expect, I guess is the best way to put it. So with that in mind, let's dive into the lyrics a little bit here. It's the miracle of birth.
I remember swinging like a pendulum by my umbilical cord.
That is such a graphic thing to think about, like swinging like a pendulum by my umbilical cord. So it's like, feeling gravity, the effects of actual gravity without floating in utero. It would be a very jostling thing, but no baby gets pulled out and is swung by their umbilical cord. That's just not a thing. But what a wild visual, just very cool. Very cool.
The surgeon held me up proudly like a prized fish.
Babies don't know what fish are, let's be honest.
And all I could think was put me back. Put me back. To be violently ejected from the safety of the womb into this Tartarian nightmare felt cruel.
Tartarian Nightmare. Okay, first of all, put me back. There's an old joke that boys spend 9 months trying to get out and then the rest of their life trying to get back in. I'll let you think about that however you want, but that's a joke that I heard when I was about 12, and now you've heard it too. I'm sorry, and you're welcome. Tartarian Nightmare. I feel like I got to Google that. According to the AI overview in Google, when I Googled Tartarian Nightmare, it says
the term Tartarian Nightmare relates to the pseudo-historical Tartaria conspiracy theory, which claims a vast technology, advanced global civilization, was wiped out by a catastrophic mud flood and intentionally erased from modern history.
Interesting. Okay. We know that. That's a thing we know now. Let's continue on.
I looked up at my mother, once my home, and now the orchestrator of my exile, and I felt deserted.
It makes me think of Stewie. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's a fantastic short that I once saw, or clip, and it showed Stewie's eyes slowly opening, and you see his mom going, Stewie, honey, it's time to wake up. Stewie, wake up. And he slowly opens his eyes, and then finally he goes, fuck you. Makes me laugh every single time. It's so great. I'm not going to put it on here because copyright or whatever, and you know how that works. But yeah, the idea that he's like, this was once my safe home, and now it's the reason for my exile. I find that fascinating. I think that's hilarious. Let's back up a little bit.
Orchestrator of my exile, and I felt deserted. I'd feel this feeling again with everyone that I'd ever loved.
Ooh, I felt deserted. I'd feel this feeling once again with everyone that I'd ever love. And there was a much darker voice in there, a second, like an overlaid voice. That's interesting.
I remember summoning a burst of air from my diaphragm, and it ripped through the tightly strung fibers of my vocal cords, and I made a terribly repugnant sound.
I love the word repugnant. Such a great use of that word. But also the idea of taking your first breath being painful. I guess I never even thought of that. That's insane.
A giant, ugly, gloved hand hoisted my tiny, writhing body onto a sterilized surface and began hacking at my umbilical cord with...
This is, if you're squeamish, you should definitely look away. By the way, if you've ever cut an umbilical cord, I have 2 kids. My second kid, I did cut the umbilical cord, and it's like the only way I can describe it, it's about to get graphic, so viewer discretion is advised, but the only way I can describe it is it's like trying to cut through tightly held rubber band. That's what it feels like. It's like many, like a huge string of rubber bands, and you're just trying to cut through. That's what it feels like. It's weird.
Stainless steel scalpel. Who were these barbarians that would sever me from my one avenue of nourishment?
And it looks nothing like that, by the way.
Back to my mother, and she looked down at me, and she smiled. How can you smile at a time like this? What is this world? I quickly realized that I did not belong here. The one thing that brought solace, that brought peace, was the rhythmic beat emanating from my mother's heart monitor.
Now that's interesting. They say that when with newborn babies, you should hold them close to your skin because they can hear your heartbeat, and that would make sense. That in this world, in this perspective, the one thing that brings the baby calm is the rhythmic beat of the heartbeat of the heart monitor, because it is rhythmic, right? I mean, it kind of reminds me of, I'm a nerd. I've got the Superman shirt on. I've got Superman tattoo. It kind of reminds me of like a lot of the depiction of Superman when he starts getting his powers, or when he really starts learning to control them, is that it's overwhelming because all of his senses are just going haywire, essentially, especially when he first gets them. And you'd have to imagine that as a baby, that's what it would be like, is everything is very overwhelming. You go from being quiet, muffled, and dark to everything super bright and super loud and overstimulating. It's got to be wild.
I remember it clearly now. It beat like a metronome. Steady. Rhythmically. And all of a sudden, I could hear music. Yeah. I could hear music, and in that music I could hear the heartbeat of the universe. Primal, connected, formless yet with form. Empty spaces filled with bursts of matter. And I was enamored, I was in awe, I was at the altar of gods.
I love when he says, "I was at the altar of God." She smiles super brightly. Ooh, that whole bit was powerful. The idea that music can connect the entire universe and let you see everything so clearly. Wow.
I knew I had to pursue this feeling every day, or I would surely die.
When you find your purpose in life, to go a day without it feels like a day that you're closer to death. What's the name of that instrument? Is it a theremin? I guess that's what they use to do like Star Trek's music and all that fun stuff. I think a theremin would be so cool, but that's what this reminds me of. And now it's over. The wild thing about a lot of these videos is that they've been kind of designed, it feels like, to go from one right into the other. And I know that both Webby and Ren have said, you need to listen to this album from start to finish, and I totally agree. It's such a really cool experience start to finish, because even though it's not one coherent story, it kind of is. It's a very, very powerful thing. Now, is this my favorite song on the album? Not necessarily, but it is a cool vibe. If you wanted to chill and meditate, if you just wanted to relax, it's kind of got that going for it. I don't know. I think this is kind of a sleeper. I think it's very fascinating, that the idea that Ren, who is the consummate storyteller, found a way to dive into the miracle of birth, right? It's wild. I mean, I know that in the actual Twitch stream between songs before this song came on, Webby was saying that this song was totally Ren's baby, that he was playing and playing and playing, and they couldn't figure out what lyrics, they couldn't figure out the song, and then he was apparently laying in bed at night, and or when he woke up, I don't know, but it just came to him, and he's like, start recording, because this is it. This is going to be a banger. It's really powerful stuff. I've really enjoyed the entire album, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm trying to alternate between some classic Ren and then this stuff as it comes out, and I found that it really helps, because it helps me see where he was and how far he's come. And it's been so much fun reacting that way. I just released not too long ago the Tales of Jenny and Screech, and then after that, a little bit later, I did the Vincent's Tale, Sunflower, and Self-Portrait, which I find funny, because if you think about it, this song was kind of a self-portrait. Next up is Bedrooms, and a few people spoiled it for me and told me that Richard's Tale is at the end of Bedrooms, which I'm really excited about. So I'll probably be doing that one next. I've been alternating back and forth, and eventually I'll get back to doing some Big Push and that sort of thing. But I really want to, literally, unless you guys don't think I should, I want to react to and break down every song on the Asylum album because I find it so good. I went through and I watched the premiere of all 7 or 6 or whatever of the videos that they did the other day, and that was so fun to do. And then going back a day or two later, and I haven't listened to them a lot since, but going back and then re-watching and re-tearing it up, I think after I've had some time for it to kind of digest, I think is a really easy way to do it without getting burnt out. But this has been so much fun. So thank you for joining me as I dive down the Ren rabbit hole. If you haven't yet, please subscribe because I try to really break these songs down, and it's been so much fun connecting. I want to say thank you very much for being so supportive and for being you, for being cool, because it's really been a hell of an experience actually being able to get to know some of you guys in the comments and just see how encouraging and positive the Ren community is. So thank you so much, Renegades and Webheads or Webbies or Websters, whatever you call yourself. I appreciate it. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Oh, and by the way, the algorithm seems to think you'll like this one, so click on it next.